We've currently got a special offer live now on poodlecfb.com for the launch of College Football 26. Use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 for $5 off the monthly plan. You'll unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Join hundreds of members in the fastest-growing CFB 26 community out there. Don't miss out and sign up now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over how EA completely broke position changes in College Football 26 Dynasty. Now, before we get into the video, guys, we've been absolutely killing it over on poodlecfb.com. If you haven't signed up already, you definitely don't want to miss out on this deal and what's going on over there. The first week of CFB has been absolutely crazy. We are breaking things left and right, figuring out new tactics, new methods, going over pipelines, strength, data testing, and everything to perfect not only your Dynasty choice, but all the decisions you make in your Dynasty. So make sure to check it out below. If you use code KICKOFF, all caps, you get $50 off the annual plan. Use code KICKOFF 2025, all caps, you get $5 off the monthly plan. And the best part, like I always say, your grandfathered in. It's a recurring membership. So not only do you get a great deal now, you have a great deal for your longevity and your time over on the website. So make sure to check it out, guys. Be a part of the Discord chat, be a part of everything we're doing live, have direct access to me, directly at me for questions, which is happening all day. What pipeline to choose? What should I do? Should I cut this guy, this coach package? As well as all the tools that are coming. Our CFB Ultimate Guide 2.0 for this year will be coming in August. We have a lot of tools already on there, like our coach build calculator, our master spreadsheet that has thousands of lines of everything you could ever need to analyze a team and know what to do in Dynasty mode, as well as all of our new features that we'll be rolling out over the next few weeks, plus we already have. You can at me all day. I get back pretty quick and have a team of members who do the same thing. So make sure to check it out, guys. But let's get into the video. As you guys know, last year position changes played a huge role in college football, and it really does make sense. It's college football. It's not the NFL. You're not solidified yet. You're still kind of finding where you fit on a team. But position changing played a huge role, both from a actual football standpoint and a strategic exploitation way, right? So let's go through a few things. First and foremost, it's very clear that EA kept tabs on the YouTube videos and the community we have over here, as well as other people's channels, because last year was a big year for position change exploits. As you guys know, there was a few things that went on with position changes, so I'm going to update you guys on those if you don't already know. Last year with position changes, you were able to get them into a spot you want, like a right tackle to left tackle. Let's talk about guys who just have like position OCD. Like they need to have their even roster. Changing, if you have 5 right tackles and you only have 1 left tackle, some guys like to change 3 of those backups or 2 of those backups to balance out their roster, move them over to left tackle. That was one way to do it. Upon doing that, we did find out there were ways to exploit this. The first exploit was just abilities. So last year, I'm going to take you guys through this real quick before I go into how they kind of broke this and what they did. So last year, let's say you get a running back like this guy, Jordan, 89 overall. You would go to his physicals ability, and to unlock different physical abilities, what you basically needed to do was first hit the threshold. So see how it says silver requires 88 juke and he's an 87? He's not eligible for it. Same thing here, same thing here. This one, he's eligible for bronze, right now 87, and he has an 87. So he could get bronze, you could buy it with 2 points, as you guys see. But what happened last year was you couldn't purchase them. So what people were doing was, and what we learned was, if you were to flip a position, re-roll as we called it, like move this halfback to fullback and back to halfback, he would then automatically unlock all abilities he was eligible for. So as you see Shifty, it requires an 87 change of direction. Obviously he doesn't have the speed yet, but last year it required just to change of direction, and he has an 87. If he was eligible for it and you flipped his position, he would automatically unlock all abilities that were at threshold already, which we called the reroll method. So what that allowed you to do is, since players have to either spend skill points on abilities or ratings, it had to kind of like balance, like do they go in an ability direction or the ratings. It kind of kept progression slower. By re-rolling, you could max all their abilities out and force players to use all their skill points on ratings. Position changing was super glitchy last year, and not even going down the rabbit hole of the other side of this, which even further than abilities, people would move players into glitchy positions like power halfbacks to D linemen, moving something like a halfback to defensive tackle, and you could literally get like 97 speed defensive tackles. You could get 97 speed linebackers, 97 speed edge rushers. You could do really crazy things, and they progress so quickly if you took advantage of ability flipping, re-rolling, and really manipulating it. So position changes really made the game in a weird place last year, but it makes sense because position changing is so important. So that's like the background on how position changing worked last year and how you can manipulate overalls and also just build up players. For instance, a guy I always gave as an example is Deshaun Womack. Last year for LSU, he was an end that was built like a DT, kind of like an Aaron Donald. And if you moved him over, at end he was okay, but if you moved him to DT, his overall went from an 85 to like a 92, and he would get every platinum ability. So it was like a way to like jump overalls and boost your players up and re-roll the ability. So now the rest of his junior and senior year, he would spend the rest of his points on ratings, getting up to like a 95 plus. Very glitchy. But let's go into how they broke it, which I'm going to take you guys to a few things first and foremost. Last year, there was a few ways to reroll and a few ways to do it. In season, you were able to go to your roster, and this was a very risky way of doing it, by the way, so not many people did it, but you can go to your roster and go to like a freshman, right? So this guy's someone that we recruited, and you would go to more and go to edit player, and you could re-roll them in season. The reason this was risky is because you didn't get to like see the archetype ahead of time, and you could often brick players and completely destroy them like a quarterback with the strong arm issue. But now they've gotten rid of the ability to change players' positions in season. That's the first thing they did, which is very crazy. So that's already the first sign that EA tried to get rid of this, and we're not even how you broke it yet. But I'm gonna go into that in a little bit, so stay tuned for all that. But you can't change in season, which I don't care about too much. I know some people might mind it, like if you need a quick fix for a backup spot or you're low on depth somewhere. But for me, I don't care too much about that because I never liked doing it. Like I said, you could really break a player, ruin them in the off season when you're doing position changes. You could actually see how you're moving players and where they go to and the archetype you're gonna get, which was definitely cool. But let me take you guys to the off season and go through exactly what they did. So we're at National Signing Day, which is also position change week. So let's go through a few things. What did EA change, and then what did they break? So as you guys know, you go to position changes, you can click on any player. So let's start with let's see a position that changes very simply, like a left tackle. Click A on them, or I believe it's X if you're on PlayStation. So you can see how you could change it to a tight end. Now the cool thing is, I'm gonna drop my webcam for this. I'm sorry, I know you guys complain that I leave that on too much. As you guys see, when changing them, you can actually now visualize your abilities and what they'll be ahead of time and their overall and their archetype. Now, I do appreciate that change because it was frustrating not knowing what they changed to, especially if you don't watch a lot of YouTube. I always go back to like that dad that comes home from work, long day, kids, and he just wants to play the game and change positions, and you break a player. I do like that you can visibly see it now. You don't have to watch YouTube to know this exactly what's going to happen, all the archetypes. But if you move him to tight end, he gets these abilities. But while they did that, it became very clear why they did this, because they stopped the re-rolling. And that's not how they broke it, right? Like, they stopped the re-rolling, and I'm fine with that. It was very cheesy, it was very glitchy. That's fine. The point of these games are like, if they're gonna have it out there, obviously we all want to just be doing it because we're going against people who are doing it, and that's always what I hate. I don't mind playing the game the right way. I hate when everyone else is playing it the wrong way, and then we're playing it the right way. But you can see that now. So that's awesome, that's cool. But let's go to change a player. So let's take a look at Elijah Page for what he is. Let's look at him, or let's go to potentially a cornerback here, and let's just see what they look like. So let's say we have this cornerback, Marcellus Williams. Let's take a look at his stats and just take a look at all this. These are his caps as it stands. A little bit of man coverage, a little bit in zone. Basically can get up to quickness, pretty good hands, power, run stopping is the most cap thing. Look at his caps very carefully. Take a look at that. Now let's say we want to change Marcellus Willis. By the way, another big change they did was allowing you to see that things on the position change screen, which was huge. So all good so far. Now let's go into Marcellus Willis and make a position change here and go show you guys. So let's say he's a cornerback who's a boundary archetype right now. Let's change him to a strong safety hybrid, which last year was a very common thing you do. Change him to a strong safety. Okay, let's see what his overall drop was. Not bad, still an 80-ish, fine. And let's go to his ratings. As you see, he just got absolutely capped to hell. All of his caps went up by a lot. So now his ceiling just significantly dropped. Now last year, caps didn't do this. And if you guys aren't paying attention here, just like remember what it was. Like look carefully, go back and pause. His caps dropped a lot. Now if you read the blog from EA or you heard what they said this year that position changing wouldn't be as simple as just moving a player to another position. Basically saying that their potential would be limited in a way, right? This is basically what this is saying. Their potential is limited. Like now that they're playing strong safety, they can only be okay, not great. So let's say you don't like that. So you want to move him back to cornerback. You want to go back, and you have to back out again, by the way, guys. You have to back out of that and go back in, which is annoying after you change one or you go into a player card. But let's say you don't like that and we want to go ahead now and actually put him back because like those caps are crazy. Especially if they're freshmen or sophomores, like those guys are crazy. Let's move him back to boundary corner. He was better there, and it's like boundary corner is now gone, and his abilities are gone. That's rough, but whatever. We'll go bump and run, and we lost his abilities. Okay, that's fine. Let's go back to cornerback where he started at. He's around the same overall. That's still cool, 80 overall. And let's go look at him. And now his hands are dropped completely. His hands got capped all the way to killing him. His power is basically capped. His run stopping is basically capped. His quickness is fine. His zone and man's about the same. But as you see these caps, they went up. And we could do this with a bunch of different players here. So what EA seems to have done, and I'm going to go into some deeper diving here about how this may have happened. So over on PoodleCP.com, they were doing some testing over on Team Builder. So if you go on the Team Builder site, you can get a really in-depth look at how this stuff works and how like they go into building teams. So when you're creating a team or a player, there's their rating, their overall, there's their archetype, there's their pipeline, where they come from, there's everything, their height, their weight. Then there's their dev trait, right, which is normal, elite, star, impact. Elite, star, impact, normal. All good. But there's something on there called potential. And when you're looking at potential of a player, there's like low, medium, high. Let's call it low, medium, high. What it's basically saying is a player with low potential determines their skill cap. So I'm assuming that's EA's formula for how they actually determine skill caps in this game is based on their potential. So if they're low potential, like a 2-star that has a low potential, a lot of skill caps, they can never grow too high. It seems to me like the bug here, the error, is that every player is set to low potential when they switch, and that shouldn't be the case, especially when you bring him back. So let's look at a running back. Let's take a look at his player card and take a look at all of his ratings. As you see, his quickness goes up pretty high, his elusiveness goes pretty high. He doesn't seem to have more than, he has 1, 3, 4 in these first ones, a good amount in power, IQ is basically capped, and route running is basically capped, but he's a 79 overall. Good room to grow. So we're going to move him over and then bring him back to halfback. And where this is really rough is now you got to be so careful, like I said, because you can't bring them back. Once you bring them back, their caps are permanently altered. They're not the same player anymore. So you have to be very careful. And a fullback's a very lateral move. You're not really going anywhere. It's not like you're not destroying them completely here. So let's move him from fullback, or let's go take a look at what he is at fullback and show you what his stats are now. He's a 71 overall, he dropped, and he's capped to hell. So he's a 71 overall. And at least last year, what it would do is, like, if you dropped him to like a D tackle or DN, he'd go to a 40, but he'd have all these open caps, and you could then build him into that position, even though you started low, which made sense. Now, his blocking barely will get up. Mind you, he is a utility archetype. His blocking will barely get up. His power will barely get up. His hands and route running will get slightly better. This guy won't be any higher than like a 76 overall. He's completely cooked now. So again, you may say to yourself, all right, well, I guess I can't play him anywhere else. So now you're going to go and put him back into his spot because he's going to be absolutely terrible at the spot. So let's put him back to East-West playmaker. That's way better. And then let's see what he's looking like now. As you know, he only has the recoup ability now. He dropped an overall, which is odd, right? And then we're going to go into, or stayed the route the same, but he dropped in his abilities. Now, if you look, his stat caps have changed. Once again, he's almost capped out in these bottom tiers now, while some of the other stuff like the athleticism one, quickness, and elusiveness were basically the same. His hands went down significantly. That was not that high before. And his power went down slightly. His route running is now max, and his IQ is now capped, which was super high. Now, his IQ includes his awareness. Awareness is one of the most important stats for overalls. So with his IQ being capped, his overall is not going to go up that much. So let's just say you max these all out. He's capping at like an 84 overall now. Before, he could have probably gotten to like an 88, an 89. So what this is doing is completely killing the ceiling of every player. And if it was just like you move him to DN and you see his potential is capped, I think that's actually a great change. Yes, a 160-pound soaking wet running back should not be playing DN with a 97 speed. 100% agree. They should not be able to pass rush well. They should just be fast. But what they've essentially done now is put us in a place where you can't play them out of position almost anywhere. So if you take a 95 overall guy and move him out of position, he's now an 88. You take an 88, he's now an 84. You take an 84, he's now 79. And so on and so forth. And some of them are worse. I've done a lot of testing with this. Some of them drop like 10, 15 overalls of potential. Now, that would all be fine if I could just bring them back to their spot and they kept their abilities and their caps. Because I was like, oh, I don't like him there. Let me put him back. Because in real life, you tell a guy, we're going to try you at safety today. And then tomorrow you don't like it. And you're like, no, go back to cornerback. He didn't lose all of his potential at cornerback. That doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, based on team builders, it seems apparent that what they did was they have it coded to there's like a potential coding of low, medium, high, elite, whatever it is. And it seems to be like they all default back to low upon a switch, which I think was EA's super uber aggressive way of trying to completely kill our reroll methods, all of our manipulation methods, which is fine. But if they just had that potential factor correct and they had it set to just go to what, like, there should be a set potential for each position. Like a cornerback should have his potential for what he is. Let's say he's a high cornerback, which should be a high at safety as well, because it's a very lateral position at least in the gaming world. And or maybe a medium there, and then like O lineman completely opposite should be like low, quarterback should be like low. That all makes sense. Like a cornerback should not go to quarterback, but a cornerback can go to safety relatively easy in this game based on ratings. So I get all that. I feel like there's a bug here and I feel like it's auto defaulting back, and we could do this all day with players, and you're just going to see how players get absolutely just bricked. And it's crazy because position changing is a huge part of this game. It's a huge part of this game. And I don't like the fact that this is something that we have to now worry about, considering it's a huge part of this game. So as you guys see, we have an athlete in the offseason during the stage. Let's go to like a real function of the game. Forget position changing. An athlete, you're supposed to pick his position. So right now he's an athlete. He's a contact seeker. He appears to be a linebacker. So you can go in here and you can see that, or sorry, a halfback. But his top ones are linebacker because he's a power halfback. So power halfbacks converted very well to linebacker last year. So you could take his, or you can go for linebacker. Let's take his. Let's take his. And let's go with what his is supposed to be. So now Ezekiel Duff, we simmed into the next season because for a freshman player, you can't see their actual caps there. But look at Duff. This is what he is, a 73 overall. He's a star dev, 4-star, clearly has a high ceiling. He is capped to hell. He is capped to hell as a contact seeker running back. His power is basically capped. His route running's capped. His IQ is basically capped, so he's never going to be high overall. He's never going to be a great power back because he's basically capped already at it. So all you're going to be able to upgrade is his speed a little bit, which is already slow, and his elusiveness, which is horrible. And these aren't going to, elusiveness isn't going to play much of a role in hands into his overall. What's going to matter is power and IQ, and that's already basically capped. So this running back's not going to hit above like an 83 overall. Why did a star dev 4-star, be completely capped as an athlete? So you have to run this offline. I'm not going to waste a lot of time showing you guys this, but I did it already. If you run this offline, you created a save point the week before. You know, during position change week, when you get to select where athletes go, that is quite literally a function of the game. And this is actually very frustrating. It's a function of the game to select the athlete's position. In that previous week, if you select their position, you actually cap them. Like I was just showing you with those other guys. By selecting their position, you actually cap them. It is safer to just not do anything and advance and let EA automatically place them in their spot and they don't come capped. So if you want to test this yourself and you don't believe me, but I'm telling you I tested it already. If you create a save point at that position change week and you do 2 different sims, one sim where you put him to contact seeker, he looks like this. And then do another sim where you don't put him to contact seeker and you could have an uncapped player, like a 90 plus overall player potential. Because let's say he was a star dev 4-star, which likely means he has very high caps, he would have been able to get to a 90 plus because his potential as per team builder would be like a high elite. But because we manually touch position changes here, he got penalized and he automatically lost all his caps as if we moved him to another position when we only put him where he was intended to already play. This was his actual position. So the advice here is to not move athletes. Don't move athletes. You have to let them sim through. What EA is basically doing here is putting down the hammer on like, we're not letting you do position changes this year, which is weird because they left the feature in and it's almost like a carrot on a stick. Like it's like a trap. You're being trapped with this. I don't think this was intentional. I do think they had good intentions with this. They meant to just code it in a way that stopped glitchy ones, but the way the coding works seems to be applying to everything, and it's not just picking out the ones that shouldn't be, like quarterback to D lineman or halfback to linebacker. Those should be the ones it's picking out, not halfback to fullback or offensive guard, like left guard to right guard. Those are very interchangeable in this game. So I do think they need to adjust that. Like our theory over there on poodlecfp.com is that the things just auto-coded to place to low upon change, which is very dumb for athletes as well. Hopefully they see this. Hopefully they make a fix, guys. But that is basically it. The advice to take from this right now is under no circumstances should you be changing positions. You are quite literally bricking your players unless you're trying to do that recruiting method that I showed you guys where you purposely do it to cap them. Again, that's kind of what's crazy is that method actually works because they killed them on caps. Any recruit that you care about, a player that you genuinely want to see play the next 4 to 5 years, depending on the red shirt, and you want them on your team, they're serious recruit for you, don't position change them. Don't touch them at all. Don't move them. You will break your abilities. You will break your attributes. You will break your caps. And the player's basically dead, and there's no way to undo it. It is irreversible. Do not make this huge mistake, guys. But that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, check out poodlecfp.com. All these, I know I dropped for you guys in videos, but the value they get over there is just insane between being able to just be on my phone and type it out and direct response to ads. And you guys see all the math and the formulas and the breakdowns for all this stuff. It's really something special to be a part of. If you want to dominate Dynasty and just really have all the insider info, that's the place to be. Make sure to use code KICKOFF, all caps, for $50 off the annual plan, or code KICKOFF 2025 all caps for $5 off the monthly plan. Come join. We're nearing 1,000 members. Best CFB community to be a part of. Smartest people you ever talk to, especially in this space. Check it out, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions, comment them down below. I'll be happy to help. Of course, spark some forums down there as well. Can we get 500 likes in this video? I'd greatly appreciate that, guys. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out. Peace.